Hey guys, Charlie the plumber here. So today I was called out to a job where I've got a commercial toilet that is loose on the floor. So we're going to show you what I see and what I'm going to do to fix this. Kind of give you a heads up on as to what's going on. Basically, the first thing you want to do in any commercial building, put the rubber gloves on, because you really don't know what kind of diseases, how clean that toilet is, anything like that. So it's not worth the risk of not having rubber gloves on, whether it be rubber dishwasher gloves, disposable gloves, whatever the case may be. Put them on, make sure you're covered. Now, I'm looking at this toilet first time. Actually, I've looked at it before, but you can see the Sloan valve. This is a commercial flush type. The Sloan valve is crooked here, going up and down. So that kind of tells me that washer, the O-ring inside this portion right here, is potentially loose when they tighten it up, or the pressure has pushed it out. First thing we do, we check to make sure the water is turned off. We do that by flushing it. Water obviously is not turned off. So we're going to take this little cap off here. I've already pre-loosened it. And this has got the shut-off stop. It's a screwdriver slot, so we'll take and we'll just shut that screwdriver slot off. Probably about 6 or 8 turns. Get her good and tight. How do we know whether it's off? Yep, we'll flush her again. No water. So I look at this and I say, okay, this thing is loose on the floor. Obviously you can see it wiggling and jiggling like crazy. I took a look over here. You can see that there's a bolt that's broken or come loose or something like that. So we'll take a look, see what's going on there. This side over here looks like it's tight. It is wiggling some. So basically what we're going to do is, rather than trying to cut this bolt off, since we'll never be able to get it, it's very tough to get needle nose under here to hold back on this, we're going to cut this bolt off. I'm going to use my battery operated Milwaukee fuel cell sawzall to do that. And then I'm going to want to try to hold back on that so that it doesn't wiggle and jiggle completely out of the way. So I'll stick my wrench back in here. And then I've got just a metal cut sawzall blade on here. We'll tuck her up underneath there. I want to try not to scratch the bowl on it. So we got that bolt cut off now. What we're going to do is we're going to check. The other side is also in there where it won't come out. So we're going to have to cut off both sides. So we'll do the same thing over here on this side. Now we're hoping this flange isn't broken, but if it is, then we'll show you how to put that flange on too. Get a good hold of that. There's the other side. Now this sawzall blade is a very fine-toothed blade. The coarser the blade, the more issues you're going to have trying to get that thing off. So we've got both sides cut loose. Now basically what we're going to do is we're going to take that Sloan valve and we're going to loosen this nut here. This building is set up for demolition in a year. So we're not real concerned about the channel locks with the teeth on them. We don't want to mark them up, but they do make some other ones that don't have teeth on there, so we don't mark it up. But being that we've only got to make it another year, we're not extremely concerned about it. I'm going to take it off at the vacuum breaker nut so that we can we'll pull this old Sloan head off of here. This is an old Sloan Regal head. And then we'll change the vacuum breaker and the O-ring before we put it all back together. So we got a little bit of water. There's the vacuum breaker that's stuck in place. You can see basically it's got where water will go through, but it won't come back. It's got a little duck bill in there. So we've got that out of the way. Try to salvage, keep that water in there so we don't make a huge mess. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to wiggle this toilet off of here and get it out of the way. So much for not making a mess, for crying out loud. So here's what we got. We're showing right now, we're showing this flange. It's completely gooped up. So we're going to get the floor cleaned up here, get it dried up. Okay, so we got the floor so it's not going to completely soak me, but it's still pretty moist, pretty wet. So what we're going to try and do, see if we can get a good picture here without completely grossing you out as to what we got going on. So here's that flange. Okay, you can see this one has got, I see a broken flange on here. Both the ears, there's the second ear. This was over here on this side where the bolt went. That's completely broke. You can see over here it's already broke. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to break this flange off. What we've got is we've got a repair flange we're going to put back on here. And I've got that out in the truck, so I'll have to go out and get that. But basically what we do to break this off, or what I do, is I'm going to take some paper towel or a rag or something like that, and I'm going to lay this over top of this thing here, and I'm going to take a hammer and I'm going to bust that ear off, or bust that flange off so it goes down flush with the floor. I've got my trusty rusty 40-ounce maul, so we'll take and we'll bust this off. The reason I got the paper towel on here is just so that we don't get stuff shooting up at us. We definitely don't want that. Now we got the edges broke off. Now we got to get, this is an old piece of lead. This is what they call lead and oakum flange that was in here from years ago. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and get that lead out of there so that we can get this edge broke off. And then we're going to put a new, this is a repair flange by Odie. Basically it's got a rubber O-ring here, and then it's got 3 Allen screws. What I'll do is once I get this broke off so it's flush with the floor, then we'll go ahead and we'll stick this repair flange by Odie back inside there. We'll tighten up the 3 screws, and then I'll also put 6 screws back into here. These are going to be concrete screws, and we'll screw it right into the floor. Number one reason these flanges break, one, they're plastic, so they're a little bit more brittle than the old school ones. But the second reason is because when you sit on these toilets, what happens is these things will flex. And when they flex, they obviously will stress crack over the years. So the more screws we can get in there, more support that we get in there, the better off we're going to be. So we'll get this off of here and we'll set that flange and we'll show you how to do the rest of it. Okay, finally got the piece of lead out. That's obviously a little tougher. Sweating like a hog right here in downtown Romeo. We're going to change the gloves out. Got some holes in them, so we want to get fresh gloves. Okay guys, so we got the finally got the flange and the old lead out of that flange. So basically what we've got, I'm going to show you, I stuck a piece of paper towel down inside this drain. Had to pull it up a little fast. That takes care of losing any of your tools or getting any crumbs or stuff that goes down that drain that doesn't belong down there. Now you can see we've got a rough edge here, which we really don't care about too much, because this Odie flange is going to go down inside that pipe. See, this flange, you always check them, and you can check them by just rubbing it over the original floor. Got a little edge there we'll take off. Little edge there that will take off. But other than that, this flange will go right down inside there. Once we're ready, we'll tap that down inside there and that'll fit nicely. I finally got the flange and the pipe cleaned out enough where I was able to get them both in there. I do have the flange set currently. I've got it in there, I've got it tightened down, and we're getting ready to put the blue screws in. Like I say, we'll do them in these holes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this flange, you want these ears here, to be right straight across in the center. That way when you set your toilet, it's going to be perfect. It's not going to be one way or the other. So that's just something to think about. So I'll put my 6 screws in here. And then once we get that done, I'll put the bolts back in, the wax ring on, and we'll reset this toilet. So hopefully you like this video. If you do, obviously hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. That's most important. And stick around for some more of my videos. Let me know what you think. Trying to do the best we can. I know I'm not a professional, but I am a professional plumber, have been for 35 years. So take care. Hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.